health care is a drag on our economy. It's a drag on our economy if you are a business owner and you can't hire because your health care premiums are going up at least 10%, if not 20%. It is a drag on the economy if soaring healthcare costs lead municipal leaders to have to lay off folks. And it's a drag on the economy if you're a consumer and you know you have a healthcare bill coming due and you can't go out and spend money, maybe go out to a restaurant, maybe go to a furniture store and buy something new for your home. Healthcare costs, maybe even more so than the budget, will be the issue of this session. I think we have to be smart, obviously, about how we address it. And the interesting thing is we know what the long-term goal is, right? We know that where we are right now, where we have this fee-for-service model, where there's basically an incentive for doctors and hospitals to just do more services, not necessarily keep people healthier. That is the system we have now. That system obviously doesn't work based on the way costs are going up. We need to move to a system where providers, whether they are doctors, groups, or hospitals, are paid to keep people healthy and treat them holistically. Everyone just about agrees on that basic statement. It's the devil in the details in between that's very difficult. So I think for the most part, the healthcare law has been a good thing in that everyone has coverage. The budgetary impact has not been that large on the Massachusetts side. The Mass Taxpayers Foundation said at most it had a 1% overall impact on our healthcare budget. So it has not had a massive impact on that side of things.
Okay.
But we need to continue to be diligent on the cost side because if we don't, our economic recovery is going to be stunted. We won't see job growth, and we won't have the recovery we need.
Yes, just as kind of a corollary, the national bill. Similar to Massachusetts, they kind of model the national bill. Would Massachusetts see any benefits from the national bill? How do you see the national bill playing out over the next 2 years? And of all things, could it be repealed?
Yeah, I'll start with the last one first. Not being a constitutional lawyer, I do not know I understand sort of in theory some of the arguments. I don't believe that when all is said and done, the health care bill will be repealed by the courts. I don't think the arguments are as strong as some of the proponents would like to think they are around the Interstate Commerce Clause. I think if they were, then a lot of the agricultural subsidies that we have in the United States probably would be struck down along with them, or would have been struck down long ago. They seem to be very similar arguments. Are there benefits to Massachusetts from the National Health Care Bill? Yes. There are benefits in the sense that small businesses throughout Western Mass and throughout Massachusetts have a tax credit that they can now take advantage of to be able to offset some of the costs of the health care plans that they have right now. I think there are a lot of benefits to Massachusetts in the sense that much of the implementation that other states are concerned about now, we have done already. We are working, we are working on the second chapter of healthcare reform, while other states are just starting to implement the first. So I think in that sense, we are ahead of the curve, and that's a benefit as well. And I'm sure there are many other components of the bill that are beneficial to Massachusetts, but a lot of what was done nationally, we have done here on the statewide, on the state side already, whether it's making sure that people with pre-existing conditions have coverage. Obviously, the expansion of children being able to stay on their parents' plan until 26 is a benefit in Massachusetts. So there's a lot that we did already that we're just now seeing to accrue to some of our neighbors as well. So yes, there are benefits, but thankfully we're ahead of curve.
Good. Yeah. I think Massachusetts, again, we're the first in the nation in so many categories, and we can kind of boast that we're first in the nation actually tackling health care for all of its for all the bill's warts and idiosyncrasies. It's a good positive step. Speaking of politics, we're going to shift the tack here a little bit. I want to get your take on the upcoming 2012 election season. Two big questions. Senator Brown, we were talking about him before the show. Do you think he has a chance to actually be defeated by a Democrat? And President Obama, what's your take on his standing, and how do you think he'll fare?
I think the right Democrat could beat Scott Brown. I don't think any Democrat necessarily will beat Scott Brown. And I think, personally, that's what I'll be looking for as I talk with candidates who come out to Western Massachusetts and talk about the issues. I'll throw it out there. In my ideal world, the governor would run. I think the governor would make a great candidate against Senator Brown. More importantly, I think he'd make a great candidate for the United States Senate and for Massachusetts. I'm concerned that if we don't have a good candidate here in Massachusetts, that the Republicans could take over the Senate. I think the numbers are real. We had a great class of senators in 2006 as Democrats that helped in that wave election. But a lot of them are facing very difficult re-election battles. You have senators like Senator Webb in Virginia who just stepped down, and obviously that'll be a difficult election one way or the other. So I think that the right Democrat could be victorious, but I don't think necessarily any Democrat is going to beat Senator Brown. And much as much as this is the Western Mass Democrat show, I have to give credit to Senator Brown. When we have called from the Berkshires on issues that are important to our area, especially around job creation and federal contracts, he has been responsive. And he deserves credit for that, even if we'll work like nuts in 2012 to have our own candidate in there.
Yeah, like I said, we were talking about the show, and there was during the past winter here, there was a snowstorm, and who's in Greenfield but Scott Brown, not that Tadas Orrin, but you have to tip your hat to him and say he actually made the trip up during a major snowstorm. It wasn't a dusting, and the local paper had a story about it. So he's certainly been active and out there, and that's why I bring the question up.
Right.
He'll be a formidable candidate. He's
Absolutely, he'll be a formidable candidate who's claimed he's going to raise $25 million. So.
Yeah, the money's a whole nother. That's astronomical.
It's just zeros at that point, Joe.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's just a long string of zeros. And President Obama, he is a campaigner. I know he's the healthcare law. He took a beating on, and the Republicans have been jabbing him, and they got the House back. But President Obama is a campaigner and a half. Yep. And do you think he'll do well? I think in New England, on the East Coast, I think he'll do reasonably well. And I'm interested in states like Indiana, where he won last time, and some of the Colorados of the world, and those, you start losing too many of those, and the number starts. You're not going to be president. Basically, that's what it boils down to. So.
I think when you focus solely on President Obama, you look at it and you say that's a daunting electoral map to deal with. I think when you look at it and say, well, who's going to run against him, it just starts to get easier and easier. I don't see the case, for instance, that the former governor of Massachusetts, Mitt Romney, wants to make. I also don't see how you win a conservative primary when you as governor signed into law a health care bill that looks almost exactly like the national health care bill.
Absolutely.
I've been underwhelmed so far by the Republican candidates, whether it's Governor Pawlenty from Minnesota or some of the other candidates. I don't think any of them have made a compelling case yet or shown yet that they can significantly change the electoral map from the Obama-McCain race. That doesn't mean I'm taking anything for granted. I know we have to work hard here in Massachusetts, and I look forward to trying to help out in New Hampshire and other states. But I think the president, as the economy gets better, will be in very good shape.
Yeah. Ben, it's been a quick show. I want to thank you so much for coming down. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
I'm not going to take as long to get you back on down here next year. I want to get you back down, and we'll talk shop again and talk more politics. Thank you for watching this month's The Western Mass Democrat. I will see you next month.